Have you ever had that feeling? That sudden, powerful urge to just disappear? Not, forever, but just to duck out of a situation, escape a feeling, or sidestep a responsibility. It's a really human experience, and today, we're going to unpack what's actually going on behind it.
So, the source material we're looking at today kicks off with this incredibly raw plea. I am disappearing, help me. It's just 5 words, but man, they carry so much weight. It just perfectly captures that feeling of being completely overwhelmed and maybe a little invisible.
And this isn't just a one-off feeling. The writer makes it clear that this is a pattern, something that just keeps popping up in all these different corners of daily life. It's this quiet, personal retreat from everything. And the moments where this happens are so relatable, like disappearing down a YouTube rabbit hole right after a long day at work, or that feeling of pulling away when someone shows up to help because it means you have to do chores, or just escaping into bed when you're anxious. And my personal favorite, wanting to literally vanish from a party because someone is butchering a song on karaoke. These little escapes really paint a picture, don't they? This brings up a question that I think gets right to the heart of it all. The writer asks, am I being dramatic? And that's something a lot of us ask ourselves, right? When our emotions feel way too big for the situation. But what if it's not drama? What if it's something else? A really common human response to stress. Well, it turns out this feeling isn't just drama. It points directly to a key concept in psychology, a coping mechanism. And the specific one we're talking about here is called avoidance. So what exactly is avoidance coping? Well, to put it simply, it's a strategy our brains use to manage stress. Instead of facing whatever is causing us to feel bad, whether it's a thought, a feeling, or a real-life situation, we try to get away from it, to put some distance between us and that discomfort. To make it even clearer, think about it like this. On one hand, you have proactive coping. That's where you face a problem head-on, trying to solve it for good. But avoidance coping, that's a totally different beast. It's not about fixing the root cause. It's all about getting immediate relief, about making that uncomfortable feeling go away right here, right now. Okay, so let's connect this big idea of avoidance back to those everyday moments of wanting to disappear that we talked about. And when you lay it out like this, the connection is crystal clear. The stressor isn't some vague, abstract thing. It's a specific trigger. Getting home from work? That triggers the retreat into YouTube. Being asked to do chores? That triggers pulling away from someone. That heavy, general anxiety about life? It triggers the escape into sleep. And this is the key takeaway, really. The urge to disappear isn't just some random impulse. It's not a flaw in your character. It is a direct response to a specific trigger. It's an attempt, whether we realize it or not, to cope with something that feels stressful. So, if we know these are responses, the next logical step is to get a little better at figuring out what exactly we're responding to. What are these triggers? The source material gives us a list of incredibly common stressors. Things like just being exhausted after work, the pressure of household chores, that low-level hum of anxiety, and even just social awkwardness. The workplace itself is even named as a place we might want to disappear from. This line right here makes the connection totally explicit. Disappearing when I get anxious. I mean, it's a perfect cause and effect. An internal feeling, an emotional trigger, leads directly to an external behavior, an action. All right, so now that we've kind of reframed this whole feeling, not as drama, but as a real psychological strategy, let's circle back to where we started. Let's ask that question one more time, but now with all this new context. Is this deep, recurring urge to just disappear simply a case of being dramatic? No, it's just not. It's a coping mechanism. It's a signal that a person is up against some kind of stress and is trying to manage how they feel inside, in the best way they can in that moment. It's a sign of a struggle, not a performance. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought to chew on. Avoidance, at its core, is all about looking away from discomfort. So the question then becomes, what happens when we notice that urge to look away? If we can see it not as a personal failing, but as a signpost that's pointing directly at our stress, what might we find if we choose just for a moment to gently look toward it instead?